How to use ChatGPT on VS Code to help us to create code, fix bugs, add comments to our code, optimize the code, and much more. Be welcome to the ChatGPTer channel, where you'll learn tips, tutorials, and know the latest news about ChatGPT. Let's get started by integrating ChatGPT on VS Code. For that, we'll install an extension. So here on extensions, let's search for ChatGPT and let's install the most popular one made by Ali. So let's install this extension, and this extension will integrate ChatGPT directly here on VS Code, and it comes with great features to facilitate the use of ChatGPT on development. So we have the extension installed. So here let's click on the extension icon to open the ChatGPT. And first we have to authenticate in order to use ChatGPT here on VS Code. So let's click here on login and let's enter our account email address. And now let's enter our account password. Authentication done, so now we can use ChatGPT here on VS Code. So let's first cast to ChatGPT to develop a Python function. So here on this field, let's input our request. So here I'm saying to develop a Python function that only accepts non-negative numbers and tells if the number is even or odd. And so we want a user input and we want to see the result on the console. So let's click here to ask, and now we just have to wait for the response. So here we can see that we are getting the response from ChatGPT. Here we can see the code. So now we can copy the code easily by clicking here, or we can insert on the open file by clicking on the insert. So now if we click here, it inserts the code on the open file. And then we can also create from here a new file with the code by clicking here on new. So now let's save this file. And now let's find here the file name and make sure the extension is Py, because what we have here is Python code. So now let's click on save and let's test the function. So let's open the terminal and now let's run the code. So let's input here the file name, let's press enter. So now let's enter a non-negative number. So let's just try a -1. And so we can see that we got exception, only non-negative numbers are accepted. So let's run again. Let's enter a number, 10. And so it says that it's even, so it's right. So now let's insert an odd number. And here we can see the number you enter is odd. So it's working as expected. So let's take a look now to some features that comes with this ChatGPT extension. So here, if we select our code and now do a right click, we can see here some built-in requests to ask to ChatGPT. So for example, to ask to add tests to this code, find bugs, optimize, explain, and so on. So basically, we can select a part of our code, do a right click, and ask easily some of these things. So let's select the whole code, right click, and ask explanation. So let's click here on explain. And now here we can see, let's just wait the response. And here we got a really detailed explanation about the code that we have here on our file. So now let's see another options that we can use easily. So let's ask to ChatGPT add comments to the code. So let's click here on add comments. And now it's adding comments to our code. It's really great. Let's just wait the response to be finished. And here we can get now the code with comments. So let's copy and let's replace for the one that we have here on the file. It becomes really clear and easy to understand what does each part of the code. So now let's add here a bug to our code. So here on the condition that we are checking if a number is even, let's here replace the 0 for a 1 So that means that when the number is odd, it will be returned as even. So that's a bug. So now let's select the whole code, right click, and let's click on ChatGPT find bugs. And here we can see that ChatGPT has found two issues. So one, it's about the change that we did here. And so it says that this condition will always return even for odd numbers and not for even numbers. So to correctly check that for even numbers, we should change the condition to what was before. And here it says also about the command that it's incorrect, and that was because of our change here. So here we can see the code fixed without the bug. So let's copy it and replace. Let's test. Let's enter a number, so it's even. Let's enter an odd number, and it says it's odd, so it's working well. So let's ask now to ChatGPT optimize this code. So let's select the whole code, and now right click and click on optimize. And here we can see the response that the code is already optimized, as it checks if the number is non-negative and checks if the number is even or odd. So let's ask now to ChatGPT write tests for this function. So here, let's click on add tests. And here we have the test to test our function. So let's copy the code and replace here. So let's just run our file. And here we can see the tests are okay. It's everything well, working as expected. So now I'll just change here to 1 just to see if we got here a cure. So it's not okay, our tests. And here we can see failed, and it was because here I changed the number to an odd number, and so it didn't match here the expected result. And that's it for this tutorial. If you want to stay up to date on tutorials and videos related to a ChatGPT, subscribe to the channel and enable notifications bell. And also, if you like this tutorial, please give a thumbs up. It really helps the channel. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you on the next tutorial.